Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to our movie club. And we are going to discuss a movie, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. Robin Hood. In Russia, we always say Robin Good, like a good. You mean, well, I don't know why. Maybe bad translation of something, Robin Hood. Okay, what's up? So Robin Hood, is it a familiar to you character, like in history in general?
I learned it through cartoons and movies, not a common one. But I like that idea. It is so captivating. The everyone can understand. They have the agitation. That some people are collecting the money from the poor people. So Robin Hood is a good idea to console themselves.
Yeah, I understand. Leila, what about you? Do you study Robin Hood in schools in Turkey?
Yes.
I see. Well, I asking because I thought it's only for Soviet era of Russia, because Robin Hood sounds like a communism, right? Usually get from rich.
A little bit, yeah, a little bit.
And sometimes in Soviet Union we had it's kind of a bias, I think. So Soviet editors who publish the books, publishers, they choose authors from the West what they like, and sometimes there are some authors of the books that we know in our Russian environment, but people in the West don't know them because they are not famous there, but famous in Russia. For instance, Mine Read and such people. So it's interesting. And it makes me think that with Robin Hood, it can be the same. It's like famous only inside, I don't know, Soviet Union or something. So I like that it's not the case.
To my knowledge, Robin Hood's an English-speaking character, a character of English-speaking countries, but I may be wrong.
Yeah, probably. Okay, let's start from the story. So, Vova, would you like to start to tell about the story? What happened? Okay, let's start with this. Who are the characters and how we find them in the beginning? We don't hear you. You're muted.
Characters are Robin Hood,
Robin Hood.
Azeem.
Yeah, do you remember the Azeem has a long name? Azeem of something. Sounds very long. Robin Hood was not able to pronounce that and say, let's say it Azeem. Okay. Yes. King Richard. And where were Robin and Azeem in the beginning of the movie?
In
the prison, right?
Yes.
In the prison. So they were captivated. Usually, is it the word?
Captured.
They were captured by Turks, right?
Turks, right?
By Turks because of the crusade. Can you say this crusade?
Third Crusade, right?
Yeah. So it was another, like, the world looked different at that time. It was a like big empire of Turks, right? And it was Muslim. Am I right, Lila? At that time, and it was crusades from the West. So the war like between two religions. Vasanth, please.
I think I watched a wrong movie. Maybe a wrong version of Robin Hood, I think. So I think the slides won't be useful this time.
We noticed that with Vova. We noticed Vova told me that, I don't recognize the slides. But it's totally okay. Your slides all also about Robin Hood, and we can discuss them. So
okay.
Don't worry. But it's funny, yes. It's funny because it shows us how many movies about Robin Hood. Okay, so Azeem was a Moor?
Moor, yeah, Moor.
What does it mean, actually, Moor?
That's a nationality. I guess I'm not sure what the country was, but the Moor are an ethnic group of people.
and they live probably on the north of the Africa, as far as I know, probably. I now recognize Mauritania, yeah, it's the
Mavr.
country. Yeah, in Russian we call them Mavr because of the country Mavriki or Mauritania or something.
Oh, Mauritania.
Yeah,
Okay, okay. Moors. Okay, Moors. Moors. All right.
makes sense
Mauritania.
now.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so Azeem is a Muslim, he is a Moor, and Robin Hood got a chance to escape from the prison, and he got him with him, right? He got this Azeem guy with
They're
himself.
kind of enemies. They're kind of on opposite sides of the war.
Yeah,
I'm not sure why the Moor was in prison, but they kind of reluctantly escaped together. He said, "Take me with you. I'll serve you until you release me," or something like that. So they kind of made a deal to work together, even though they were kind of like enemies.
yeah, and we learned that Azeem was in the prison, in the jail because of some romantic story. The lady was
That's right. Okay, that's right.
was the reason.
That's right.
Okay,
That's right.
Sergey,
Romantic. Yeah.
Sergey,
Find the female.
Cherchez la femme in French, right?
Cherchez la femme, yeah.
Leila, do you know what does it mean? Cherchez la femme?
No, my dear.
Well, it's an implication that in the beginning on every story, it is a romantic like story, So whatever happens, it happens because of the women.
Okay.
So in French, chercher la femme, it's mean look for a woman. So when you talk about some story and you don't understand, you can't connect. When people do this and that, so just you investigate the story until you find the right woman.
Okay.
The road course is woman.
Yes.
Yeah, those were the days.
Okay, Sergey, please, could you continue with the story? So they are in jail, they got escaped, what else?
They returned to England with Azeem, and they went to the ruined estate, and Robin Hood had known that his father was killed by Prince John.
Sheriff? No,
Sheriff.
Sheriff Nottingham, Nottingham's sheriff, and they meet small boy, and they had a fight with some guys who wanted to kill this small boy, and Sheriff of Nottingham has known about Robin Hood, and he told, please kill him. And this is the start of the conflict of Nottingham Sheriff and Robin Hood. And Robin Hood escaped from the knights of Nottingham Sheriff, and Azeem and Robin Hood meet some guys inside the forest.
So let's stay there for a bit. So at the beginning we can see that a team of I don't know, how we call it, of warriors, of sheriffs, they hunt a boy like an animal, like a deer. So they hunt them. What was the reason for this? Why they hunt him?
Because the young boy and his family were hungry, and because the Nottingham sheriff took whole food from them, and they didn't food, and they tried to find some type of food using the different animals.
Yeah.
For
So the root like reason it's because they call it forest law or something. So it was I read the book in the past. So the reason is this. So the sheriff and the like chain of command, the power, the government, they say whatever is in the forest, it's ours now. You have to get license to get anything from this. So it was not so before like Nottingham, because Sheriff of Nottingham. So before that you can hunt and bring your game. Is it a game, right? When you hunt, so to your house freely. but they choose the rule. They make a forest law, and now everything belongs to aristocracy, not to the people. So the people got punished because of this. And the King Richard, Lionheart, or how they call
Yep.
him,
Yep.
he was missing in action in the Palestine or somewhere where the sacred place. Leila, when they talk about sacred land or something, where is it located? Do you know? Is it
Oh, no.
Palestine?
Ah, Jerusalem, you mean?
Yeah.
It is in
So
Israel now.
now, yeah.
I mean, because now, because it was decided that it belongs to Israel, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
And at that time, it belonged to Turk Empire.
Right, Ottoman Empire, I guess.
Okay, we call it Ottoman Empire. Okay, so it was a huge empire, and king is missing somewhere, and that's why aristocracy and Norman tribe in general, they make some new rules and something. So the England is a bad place now. And when they saved the boy, what boy said? Did you really hunt this deer? A bunch of them, 100 of them. So boy was naughty, right? Okay, what else? Robin learned that his father was killed by sheriff, and what else? And he confronted sheriff team, right? And he went to the fort. First of all, he went to this lady. We forgot about the main character. Leila, tell us about her and about the story.
The thing is that at the beginning of the movie, 3 men escaped from the prison. One of them was Peter, and Peter was shot. And before he died, he asked Robin Hood to give his ring to his sister, Marion. That's why Robin want to see Marion, and he traveled to Marion's family home, and he gave the ring to her. At first, she didn't welcome him because maybe she was afraid that he is one of the sheriff's guys. Anyway, so they just agreed that they are just good people, and then I think sheriff's men started to they heard some noise, and Azeem looked through his binocular or whatever it is, Lee. I don't know, because binoculars, that there are two what do you say, telescope?
He has some kind of binocular.
Yeah, kind of. And he saw that sheriff's men are coming, and then they escaped. Robin and Azeem escaped from that place.
Yep. And this is an important thing to notice, to mention that this lady, she kind of in a legal field, right?
And also she's royal.
First of all, she is loyal, and second one, she is like loyal to sheriffs. She does not break any rules. She like accepts any rules from aristocracy because she want to like survive and keep her castle and keep her
Is her people.
her
right?
people, yes, servants and so on. So she had to pretend that Robin was stealing horses from her, so they just she's a victim, right? She's a victim of Robin, not a friend. Important thing, I guess. Vasanth, I'm confusing. So I should not ask you about the movie, right? Because your version is quite different.
Yeah, so unfortunately, both movies were released in 1991, and I watched the British version.
I see. And what we describe, it has a different story, right?
Yes, quite different.
Okay, sorry, my friend, you have to listen.
But yeah, I want to ask the question: do you know where Robin Hood belongs to? The territory, right?
He was Robin from Locksley.
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 Which
Robin
continent? I think
it's England. It's
England.
England.
It's
It's
in England.
Yeah, it's Saxon land. Saxon, it's a tribe, and it's the small district is Locksley. He's a noble guy. He's aristocrat. He like has
Right.
this Locksley. It belongs to him. It's this district.
Okay. Okay. Understand.
I guess Locksley might be is that his family heritage, the Locksley family, or was that
Yes.
the town he lived in? I can't remember.
It
No,
was
Call it-
family
his-
heritage.
yes, first one, yes. It was
Yeah.
like his mansion, Robert from Locksley.
Right. So kind of like a fiefdom. In the medieval days, a king would grant land to noblemen.
Uh-huh.
So their land area was usually given a name, I think. So his father, his family's land area was called Locksley.
Ah,
And they owned maybe, thousands of acres of forest and had a castle and maybe had servants working for them that we called, I guess, peasants. And so he came from a noble family. So he's called Robin of Locksley because that's where he came from. That's his little mini kingdom, if you will.
yeah.
So his father was very famous and influential. So the sheriff killed his father, and they thought that Robin had been killed in a war. So when the sheriff found out Robin had returned, he said, "Kill Robin. I want all the Locksleys wiped out because he's gonna probably take over all their land."
Mm-hmm.
And there was a blind servant, don't forget, that survived
Yeah.
when the dad was killed.
He's so cute.
I actually liked this joke about blind man and Moor, or how it was Moor, Azeem, because
Azeem.
when he was blind, he did not notice that this guy was a Muslim and he was a Moor. He said, "I hate them, these Muslim Moors, because they kidnapped our Robin and all this." Yeah, it was a nice joke. Another thing that I would like to mention, do you remember that there was a official reason why Lord of Locksley, father of Robin, was killed? So they said because he prayed to Satan or something. It was in medieval time. It's a real thing, right?
Yep.
It's interesting. So they started to stay like in legal field. They didn't say we killed him because we wanted to kill someone. They said he was guilty because of crime, and crime was he was a devil worshipper, as he wrote. Yes, and it's official. Like a Bane or how we call them, this lady who can do the magic.
Ivan, do you remember when
Which
his father went out of the castle and he said, the sheriff said, "I'm just repeating again, come and join us, or
Yeah.
else you would be killed."
Yeah. It was a real reason, but the official
Yeah,
reason was
yeah,
different.
yeah.
Yeah, and Leila, when you say join us for what?
Against the king, yeah, Richard.
Yeah, so they had an idea, right? The idea of sheriff was to took the power in the England of the country because the king is absent, and he was going to bribe barons. They say, is it right? Barons, like noble people, and
Yeah.
to took the whole power. It's
Yeah,
as far as I remember.
yeah. That's why they give them a lot of money, gold.
Yeah, where they will give this gold from the peasants, from the people,
Yeah, yeah.
I guess. Okay, so England is a pretty nice place, right? At that time, so everything it's like a civil war inside. No king, no real authority, and a Diablo guy, right? Devil guy, sheriff. And we forgot about her assistant. His assistant, a lady. Right? Vova, do you remember old lady who was a assistant of sheriff?
Yes.
Would you describe her?
She was a witch.
She was a witch. Yeah. She had in her room. Do you remember what she had in her room?
Witches instrument.
A lot of mouses, mice, right? Mice. I forgot how to make plural from mouses. So it's
Mice.
mouse and
Mice.
mice. Yeah. A lot of mice, snake, and some, I don't know, some blood, some boiling water, some poisons probably. So it's and what about her appearance? Does she look like a beauty woman? Well, what do you think?
No.
She had a strange, I would say, that dead eye or something white and not moving.
I think blind, one eye. Am I
think
right? I
so.
don't know.
I think so. Yeah.
Wow. But she seems to have some magic like skills because I don't know. Oh, it's not real. Sergey, what do you think? Was she a real witch?
I think it's not real, but maybe she's very clever and she understands some people and their behavior. I think it was not difficult that time. And outside it looked like a magic.
Yeah. So you say she used
She's a
uses
she was a psychologist.
yeah she
Maybe.
used some decorations to make you think it's
Yeah.
magic, and then she just analyze the situation and say,
Yeah.
this is your enemy and this is your friend. Something like
Yeah.
Sheriff is stupid anyway.
Now, okay, it turned out that she was related to the sheriff. Remember?
Yeah. Yes.
yeah, she had a peephole, as you wrote, yeah, to spy, and then she could pretend she just knows something from magic, as actually she learned from this peephole. Yeah.
Ivan, do you remember while she was trying to make magic, she spit to the, just played with it. I said, oh my God.
She spit it on inside the, I don't know how we call it, pan, and not pan, how we call this metal,
Kind of bowl, I think, no?
maybe, yeah, and then
Cup
makes
or bowl. Yeah.
yeah, and then some drips of blood, and then mix it together. Well, pretty disgusting. All this.
Pretty disgusting.
Okay, so Robin has no place to live, right? He had to skedaddle from these sheriff boys, and he went to the forest. And who he met? Sergey, do you remember? In the forest?
He met some guys in the forest, and the guys were gangsters in Sherwood. And before the gangsters' time, they was usual people who were went from their estate because Nottingham, Sheriff of Nottingham, treatment them, and they unified in the small army, and they live in the forest because the forest is a good place for covering from the army, because the knights of army has horses and the difficult armor and the very long knife, and the difficult organization to fight in the forest. That's why a lot of people live in the forest, and they have some small groups for stealing something, for gangs, for ganging, for taking money from the people who went through the forest.
Yeah, it's Robin, I guess. It's Robin Sala.
Yeah.
So
They were robbing Robin.
yes, they tried to rob Robin from Locksley, right? And they actually, as you mentioned, they were not like soldiers, they were not hardened criminals, they were just normal citizens who could not live like in their villages because of taxes, because of absence of, I don't know, living sources and all those things. So they decided, they were forced to be thieves, I guess. That's why.
And also, Ivan, the sheriff and the guys, his guys, thought that the forest was cursed.
Yeah, some magic, and they pretended there are some voices and sounds, so they try to to make like to keep away all these people. But and as Sergey said, forest is a forest is a hard territory to have a war action inside it, because it's
Good
hard.
play.
Yeah, it's hard. It's good for hiding. It's hard for looking for someone, right? And it's hard for cross it with the horses, with armor and all the things. So it's better for thieves than for Sherwood, for sheriff. Okay, so they had a fight, a fight, and who won the fight? I don't know the answer actually. Probably Robin.
I think the big man that Robin had to fight,
Little John,
was named Little John. Yeah, or John. I think his name was John Little, but they called him Little John. So he was a big man. So he and Robin fought. I think he gave Robin his fighting stick. He said, "You take my fighting stick." I think, I can't remember, right? But anyway, they fought. Okay. All right.
Yeah, and they had like different luck. Little John was winning for sometimes, and Robin got over this, and at the end, they were almost friends, I guess.
Little John defeated him, beat him, but Robin used his, just how can I say, he's clever, and at the end, just holding his leg, Little John just fell down. So Robin said, "I won."
Well, anyway, they became to be friends or something. They're not enemies. They're not enemies anymore, right? So they can share some, I don't know, some food, discuss, and all the things. So when what they found out, that Robin is ready to be ahead of them.
Well, they asked Robin, "Do you want to join us?" He said, "No, but I'll lead you. I'll be your boss."
Sounds fine. Yeah. But work it, right? Well, please.
No.
Oh, okay, I thought you have your arm. Okay, so I remember. I don't remember. Then Robin went to the church, right, to meet Marion. Oh. Leila, tell us about this story. Do you remember this?
A romantic story.
Kind of. Leila, do you remember the story when after the forest, after meeting these thieves, Robin went to church, I guess, to.
Yeah, he saw the sheriff there. He talked to Marion, and Marion said, "How dare you come here?" And he said, "To see you, of course." And they talked a bit, and Robin left.
I guess the important part of this like subplot is that they learn that this priest, do you remember the priest with the strange eyes, the main one? Yeah, he was blaming his father, so he supported sheriff, and he was kind of bribed. What was the word? He was a supporter of sheriff. So at that time, I think it's important because. So there are no more like supporters for Robin. Only his friends in the forest. He's alone.
Also, Ivan, the priest is supporting the sheriff, right?
Yeah. That's the problem. And priest was the one who tried to say Robin that your father was really devil worship person or something.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that, and that makes Robin to not to believe him, right? Say yes. So and he was I don't remember how, but they
He
found
went
him.
back to the forest and he started training the man.
Yeah, training the man, exactly. Sergey, do you remember how he made his army?
Yes, and they had some small fights with Knights of Nottingham, and Robin Hood and Azeem started to organize the courses for preparation for big fight, and they started to be liquid liquid arrows. I don't remember the metal small parts of arrows, and
You mean you're talking about metal arrows, right? Metal
yeah,
like tips of
arrowhead. Yeah,
arrowheads. Yeah.
they made the arrowheads, and they made some knives and spikes and some woods device, and they started to train, and they gun from they gun from bow with arrows, and it's an
They-
interesting time. It's an interesting part of the movie because the preparation it's a good feeling for me.
yeah, I
Shoot,
think they shoot from the bow,
shoot,
right?
shoot from the bow. Yeah,
How pronounce
Robin,
bow? I don't know.
Bow.
Bow. Okay.
bow.
I'm impressed how they managed to use this bow, right? So they can hit a so small target from any place. Yeah.
what about Robin? Wow.
Yeah, he was famous for being able to shoot an arrow at a target and then shoot the arrow with another arrow and then shoot that arrow with another arrow, splitting the other arrows in half.
Yes,
Seems
but Lee, it's so good.
It is fantastic. It's fantastic. I think.
I was
seems a,
clapping while I was watching.
seems a little bit unrealistic, I would say, a little bit.
A
Of
little
course.
bit. Yeah, a little bit.
Just chaos theory. The air movement would prevent such precision every time.
Yeah. Nowadays we have a sniper rifles and speed of the bullet is uncomparable. We can compare this because it's 100 times faster and still we cannot shoot
That-
such precise.
They have to adjust for the wind. Yeah, the wind direction. Yeah,
Yeah.
and the distance. Yeah.
Wind direction and like personal features of every bullet, every small like
Yeah.
milligram can make a big difference.
Yep. Yep.
Okay, so at the end, Robin had his army, right? Well trained, equipment, armed, so they are ready to get them. And I remember that lady visited him, right? Marion.
Yeah, yeah.
Tell us, Leila, why? Why she visited him?
Because I think she was thinking of him and she wanted to see him because she felt something for him. And then she went there. She saw Robin swimming under the waterfall. She was attracted, and then she talked to him. She spent the night with them, the peasants, which is unusual for her, but she enjoyed every minute of it. And what else? And she had to go back because the sheriff could, just felt suspicious, could feel suspicious. I don't remember what else.
He asked her to take care of his blind old servant.
Ah,
right?
yes. What was
Because-
his name, the blind
I'm sorry,
servant? I don't remember.
I forgot. Yeah.
I forgot as well.
Okay, so just a blind guy. Right? There was only one,
Yeah.
and then Sheriff found a way to attack Robin, right? Somehow. Sergey, do you remember what was the trick? How Sheriff found Robin?
I don't remember.
So there are two things, I think, two important things. One, what teacher Lee wrote, that the lady actually was in danger, under the risk, because she was
I found it.
Mhm,
Sorry to interrupt.
please,
I found it. Do you want me to tell you?
of course, tell us.
I'm sorry. Marion wrote to King Richard a letter. Gave it to. Okay, you go on.
Please, continue.
No, go.
So Marion was in danger because Robin asked her to write a letter to their king to explain the situation. Am I right? Yeah.
Yes.
And this mail was how we call it? Interrupted?
Gave it to the maid, her maid. Do you remember the lady? A tough lady. And she was followed.
She actually was given a helper, right? How we call it?
Well, the letter, the sheriff told Marion that his priests would deliver the letter
Yes.
personally to King Richard. Marion didn't trust him, so she said, okay, but my maid is going to go along with the church to make sure the letter gets delivered. So the priest and Marion's maid went together to deliver the letter, and then they killed her.
Yes.
And they never delivered the letter.
Yeah, actually, they didn't kill her. They were using her later to blackmail Marion.
They hit very hard on her head. Right, she fainted.
Okay, I can't remember. All right.
Yeah.
Knocked her out.
Yeah.
So then they knew that Marion was a traitor to their cause. But the sheriff wanted to marry Marion. Why?
To have a royal baby. Royal baby.
To have royal blood. Yep. She was King Richard's cousin or something like that.
Yeah.
So to be a legitimate king, to replace King Richard, he had to have royal blood. So he wanted to marry her to have a baby, and then that made his family had royal blood at that point. So he was a forward-thinking guy. He was thinking into the future.
Because he had a witch to help him. Witch that predicts future.
Yeah. Now, Layla, did you recognize the actor that played the sheriff?
No.
Did he look familiar to you?
Yeah, but I said he's very, just maybe different. I don't remember. I thought he's really ugly, irritating. That's all.
He's very young.
That actor was Professor Snape in Harry Potter.
Really? But
he always plays that kind of a gruff character. Yeah.
But he looked very different.
He was very young.
Yeah. But he sounded the same.
Yeah.
You are too observant. I just can't say anything.
And I read in the Wikipedia or IMDb, I don't remember, that Sean Connery must be in the movie, but I haven't seen.
At the end,
he was at the very end. He was King Richard.
Yeah, okay. He was so handsome.
He had about 1 minute in the movie. He gave the bride away.
Yeah.
Okay.
Remember, he objected to the wedding. I object. I disallow this wedding unless I give away the bride. So he had a 1 minute part in the whole movie.
Yeah, I understand now. Okay, so Sheriff's soldiers attacked Marion mansion, or how we call it, Marion lands, and blind guy tried to escape and bring them to Robin.
Yes,
actually,
you remember.
I
remember now.
Yeah, bring them. So they knew exactly where Robin is, and they started.
They follow him, right?
Follow, yeah.
Yep, followed the blind man.
Right.
They found exact place, exact spot in Sherwood Forest. Sherwood Forest is huge, was at that time on the map. As I read in the book, you can cross, you need a week to cross it, they say in the book.
Really?
Maybe now now England is different, you know. Now, if you look at the maps, there is no forest anymore. But at that time, is it 13th century? I guess it was different.
Now the blind man couldn't see, so he didn't know where Robin's camp was.
Mhm.
But the horse had been there many times. So he just let the horse naturally go to a familiar place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they really
So-
followed the horse.
the horse was this traitor, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. It's funny how we use animals. You know, there are some postal pigeons, they return to the same place, probably.
Yeah.
But it could be, normal now. A horse can find the way easily. No?
Well, yes, maybe, but now we have, satellite systems and air jets, and no more secrets on the earth.
We have had stories in the news about animals like dogs that somehow got transported hundreds of miles away from
Yeah.
home, and they were able to find their way back home all alone.
Yeah. I read as well. Even
Yeah.
cat.
And it never worked for my dog, and and for dogs of my friends, so I don't have any real experience with this. So when we have these hunters dogs, when you when you lose them in the forest, you have to make a big expedition to find them back. They never return by their own.
Yeah, I mean, you got to have a trail they can smell. If
Yeah.
you're taken away in a car or a train, there's no trail to follow back home, so I don't know how they do it.
Perhaps it's just humans' imagination, something. I guess so. I don't know.
I don't know, yeah.
Okay, so tell us about the war, Sergey. How it was
War?
when Sheriff army went to the forest. What happened?
Yeah, and Sheriff had some problems with money because the team of Robin Hood took whole money from some rich guys, and John had a meeting with different aristocrats from nearest estates, and he asked them, please support me to be a knight, and I helped you for your fighting. They answered him, you can't beat the Robin Hood in your forest. What's about your knights? It's a bullshit. No, I have new tools. Please, Kelt, go in. And we see some brave guy in a guy from capital in Washington with some
the same way of decorations themselves.
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Could be
yeah.
Vikings. Could be Vikings.
Yeah. And Kelts, I think it's Scotland, is a modern Scotland place.
Yeah.
Should be, yeah. But at that time they were like less civilized tribes, so they invited them for like a mercenary. What's the word for this?
Mercenary, yep.
Mercenary, yeah.
The
And actually,
witch gave him the idea, Ivan. Do you remember? Call the Vikings from blah blah,
yeah,
The
always,
witch gave him.
always works. Always works. Yeah, and we forgot to mention. Yeah, Sergey, do you remember how they stole this, massive amount of gold? There are a few tricks, right? So they trick it. So they were like a big wagon, I would say, made of wood with gold, and a lot of soldiers going through the forest.
Yeah, they divided the wagon and the horse complex, and wagon went inside the water, and after that they took some gold from the water, and they have a lot of money, and they share the money among the usual people, and after that they had a supper for usual people, and they became to have a big army inside the Sherwood forest.
Mhm. Yeah. So, but became is irregular verb, right? Become become that. Yeah. Okay. So and so Celts come, and probably there is no chance to stand right against them. And we forgot. Do you remember the moment of giving birth? Well, do you remember this?
Yes.
I have seen this many times, but with horses. This black book is,
Azeem managed.
yeah,
But he was so affectionate, just, oh.
actually Azeem is an interesting like a character in this movie. What do you think is his role? Why movie director put Azeem here in this story? For diversity?
No, I mean, I think for friendship,
Well, hard to
give a
say,
good
but
message, maybe. I don't know. Not all Muslims are like him.
from if it happened today, I would say it's clearly a diversity reason, to show a Muslim black guy who is so good, and why it was at that time, I don't know exactly, but I think just to show another guy with like a different perspective of view, different experience or something. So someone to
Yeah.
show to they had someone to teach them some I don't know martial arts that sheriffs don't
And
have.
also, Ivan, maybe it gives the message that there are only good and bad people. No discrimination at all.
I think the message back in that day was the Moors were Muslims. Robin Hood was a Christian. They thought they were enemies of each other. They fought and killed each other. But when both of them ended up in prison, they realized they were pretty much the same. They were
Yeah.
both men, both had honor, both were romantic about women and would kill for love.
Yeah.
And I think the point was to show you that even though men war against men, at heart, all men are essentially very similar to each other. We're all brothers in life, if you will.
Lee, I know now once more why you are teacher Lee.
Okay, so let's go with the story. So Robin Hood's army, they lost the war, right? They lost the fight. Okay, and they got their like, what's the name for this? They friends captured, right?
Some of his men were captured and were going to be hanged
Yeah.
on the wedding day.
Yeah. And lady was blackmailed if she will not marry sheriff. So
everybody was going to be hanged, right?
Yeah.
Ivan, we forgot that Robin met his brother.
His brother. Yeah. Important subplot. Yeah. Leila, would you like to tell us?
No, you go ahead, my dear.
Okay, actually, it's kind of another thing about, I don't know, unfairness of the world, right? So
Right.
his father, Robin's father, he has an affair after his mother's died, I guess, affair with another lady, and he got
He's the maid.
Maid, yes, and he got
Right.
another son, right? But because Robin was so unhappy that there is another woman in father's life, he was objecting, and his brother.
He doesn't know anything about his brother.
Probably he knows he existed. I'm not sure, but
No, I'm telling this because at the scene when he gave a hug to his brother, he said, "Oh my God, I have a brother. I have a brother." So I think that he didn't know anything about his brother.
What happened, I think, was his dad's wife died. He got another wife. Robin got jealous that his mother had been replaced by another woman, by his dad. So he kind of hated his dad for remarrying. So he left to go to the war.
Okay.
So while he was away at war, I guess the mother had a, that the age difference doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it
Somehow
was
Will was born, but Robin didn't know it.
Right.
it was before the crusade. It was before the crusade. When Robin was young, he like objected to the father that you should not do there or something, and father listened to him. So that's why he abandoned it, another woman, another family, and Will was like without father. Will lost.
Yeah,
So,
something like that. Yeah.
but at the end they united. So Will opened this secret. He told him, I hate you for a reason, right? And the reason is that you ruined my life by your objection or something.
My
So
father loves you more.
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Always about
this
jealousy. Yeah.
yeah. But what was the role of the Will? He was a traitor, right? His role was to kill Robin, and he was captured by sheriff and then released, right?
But he pretended that he was the traitor.
I don't know. It looks like
I am sure.
I think originally he was a traitor, but when he met Robin face to face and they talked to each other, he kind of realized that they were still brothers.
Okay.
he changed his mind.
Oh,
Yeah,
my
I guess.
dream done.
Yeah.
We have
It's
a
kind of-
saying.
Mhm.
We have a saying that blood is thicker than water.
Wow.
That means that blood relationship is the strongest bond of all.
Well, in Russia, whenever we see a movie when you finally find your brother or sister or something, we say it's an Indian movie now. So Zita and Gita, and they found each other and they lost children. Some kind of stereotypes that we have. So at that moment, I said, okay, I see. It's Indian now.
An Indian movie, okay.
Okay, so they planned a way to save their friends, right? To save everyone, actually, to attack sheriff's place, to save these hostages, to save Marion, to save everyone. Sergey, how it went?
They wanted to go to inside the castle, the big castle. I don't know. It's a small city with a border, and but the guards took whole arms from pedestrians, and they put some arms inside the bottle with beer, and the very fat priest went through the border on the horse. Oh, it's a beer for you. It's for you guys. Okay, go out, go in. And they make the plans, and they killed some guards on the fence, and they prepared to attack, but suddenly small guy saw the wheel, and oh, it's a bad guy, it's a
Traitor.
it's a traitor. And they had some actions, and John, what's happening? Oh, it's a traitor, please kill him and end him. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what they did, they planted some barrels of gunpowder in different places, and one was next to the hanging platform.
Right.
So their initial plan was to shoot a flaming arrow at that barrel, blow it up, and during the confusion, they would rescue the men that were about to be hanged. But when Will got caught, they didn't have a rope to hang him, so they put his head down on top of the barrel of gunpowder to cut his head off.
Right.
So when they did that, Robin Hood couldn't shoot the barrel to start the chaos. So they had to change their plan at the last minute. What do I do now?
Yeah, and it was getting intense and intense with every second. So, and they had no time to decide actually to make a new plan. And
Yeah.
I didn't see any good plan. So they started to hang their people, starting with the child. So they
But-
have.
Ivan, how Robin Hood rescued the small boy? Tell us.
By shooting the rope, by breaking the rope with an arrow,
Yes.
with 2 arrows.
Be possible.
Two
Oh.
arrows to do it. Yep.
It
2
will,
arrows
I,
is possible. Yeah, are possible.
I guess in real life it will take 100 arrows and 7 days to achieve this result.
The arrowhead can't go by the rope this way. The arrow's got to go this way so it can cut the rope. So he able to.
Impossible, yeah.
Excellent shooting, yeah. And
Do you
then
remember that? Mhm.
I was going to say, after he saved the first guy, the sheriff saw that there was a problem, so he said, "Hang them all." So all the men suddenly were hanging by the neck. So how did
Yep.
they save all the other men that were hanging? Do you remember?
Yes.
Yeah. Layla, tell us.
Little John
Okay.
came to the scene.
Big
Fun.
Bad John.
He's so strong.
He
And
rushed the stage and pushed over the hanging platform, so
there,
everyone's feet touched the ground.
clever idea.
Do you remember this spaghetti westerns that we did? Bad, ugly, good, bad, and ugly. They had the same idea, right? To shoot this, but it's very different because when you shoot from the rifle, you had a cloud of metal things that fly, right? So it's a shrapnel, or how we call it. So a lot of metal things. Yeah.
Well, no, the bullet stays intact. The bullet heads, stays intact until it hits something. Then it,
Yeah. So similar story. Okay, so they saved their teammates and saved citizens and managed to close the gates in the castle, so there is no more support for sheriff. But still, there is a lady in danger, right? Well,
Yeah. Azeem talked to the crowd. You remember that? And persuaded them to just, be against the sheriff.
yeah. I'm a black guy from another country, and I fight for you, and you yourself. And you yourself cannot stand up for yourself and fight with us.
For your freedom.
Freedom. Yeah, so it's working. Yeah, but what with the lady? Who will save her? Well, tell us.
Me.
Yeah. Who else?
Okay. Sharif took her to the room where the witch lives and locked the door and tried to rape her.
Yeah, to marry, because there was a price, right?
Ah,
he
that
said-
was the priest. Okay, sorry. That's
He
stupid.
said, let's make everything by law, right? Marry first.
It was funny. And after that, he was forcing her and he was just trying to rape her. But Robin and Azeem was outside the door. They found her. And how did they break the door?
They didn't at the first time. They tried, but it was impossible.
Ah, And then, how did they open? Do you remember?
It's at the end, Robin get inside the room, got
Ah,
inside the room by
through the
jumping.
window.
There
Yeah,
was
yeah,
a
yeah,
long banner hanging down, so he grabbed
yeah,
it and swung out and swung in and went in through the window.
yeah. He came in through the window by breaking the glass, right?
And then probably he opened the door, unlocked the gate from the inside. I guess so. I don't remember actually.
Or someone cut through the door with a axe. I can't remember. Yeah. But
So
the
at that
painted,
moment,
the witch earlier in the movie, when she was reading the future, she told the sheriff, I see a painted man. The painted man must be killed, or he will bring about our doom. So when she saw Azeem, she went, a painted man. Yeah.
okay, and there was a final fight between main characters, right? Robin Hood and Sheriff.
Right.
Sergey, tell us something about this.
They have an interesting fight because they fight inside the small room, and but they used some devices which located in the places, and two girls helped them, and Marion to Robin Hood, and mother of Sheriff to Sheriff, and Robin Hood surprisingly won. I hope that we have the drama, but not. And and they killed Sheriff of Nottingham. I remember them, but I don't remember. I'm sorry. And they won.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
And this is
There's a little irony here. Earlier in the movie, to gain favor with Marion, the sheriff gave her a beautiful jeweled knife so she could use it to protect herself against thieves. Later in the movie, she gave that knife to Robin,
yeah, yeah.
and then at the very end, the sheriff was beating Robin. He was about to kill Robin, and Robin pulled out that knife and stabbed him. So he got killed by his own knife
Right.
at the end. It saved Robin's life. So a little irony there.
Lee, can I say dagger?
Yep, dagger. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. A very sharp pointed knife. Yes.
Okay.
Special kind of knife. Yep. Made for killing, not for cutting food.
yeah, it's exactly for stabbing, right? Not for cutting something, but exactly
Right.
for stabbing,
Right.
like a wire. So
You know, I every time thought that daggers are bigger, but this one is small.
They can be small. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that in Russia we have like a special, so it's special like length, 12 centimeters. Less than this, it's called safe for, it's not a weapon. Less than this, it's just a kitchen knife. More than this, it's a weapon. And the difference because of the heart. So more than 12 centimeters can damage your heart or something. They
Oh,
say.
yeah.
I don't remember. Probably that's the difference.
Heart's not very deep.
Don't know.
Okay.
Don't know why.
Okay.
So it's how we separate like weapon from cutlery.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, for stabbing. Do we forget something? I don't remember.
How
No.
did Azeem beat the witch? I forgot.
That
She was-
Actually,
was pretty tough.
Witch killed herself. Yeah, she attacked Azeem again and again, and then he like ran on the spike Azeem had.
Okay. Okay.
So it was some stupid fight. I would say.
Okay. Because at first we thought she was dead, and then she came back later and she wasn't dead.
Yeah.
She was
Mhm.
pretty tough. Yeah, she was a pretty tough woman.
Layla, do we forget something?
I don't think so, my dear friend. I don't think so.
Yeah, I think we covered this. Okay, so and we all know that slides are from different movies. That makes things interesting, right?
Okay.
Well,
So
One
use
thing.
your imagination.
One thing to mention, we got one subplot we have to complete here.
Mhm.
At the beginning of the movie, Azeem said, "You saved my life," told Robin, "You saved my life. I will stay with you until I save your life. And then my obligation is done."
Right.
So at the very end of the movie, Azeem told Robin, "I'm free. I saved your life. I'm free now."
And also one thing, the very beginning of the movie, Robin just laughed at Sheriff a lot because he was in prison because of a woman, because he
Yes.
said, Azim said, she was worth even that.
Worth
And at the end,
dying for. Yeah.
right, at the end, the same thing happened to Robin.
Exactly. Yep, exactly. A little irony there. Robin didn't believe at the beginning that a woman's love was worth dying for. He thought Azeem was a fool.
Yeah,
At the end, he was put in the same situation and did the same thing. He was, Marion was worth dying for. Yeah.
right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, let's start with this one. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
And as always, a piece of art with arrows, with
Of
Yeah.
course.
swords.
Swords. Yep.
Yeah.
And
And
the Robin Hood hat with the feather.
yeah, it's I can recognize it. We had it in many like pieces, movies, and everywhere.
Yeah. A unique hat. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let's start with this one. Whoa, could you please start?
Mm. There are a lot of people
Mhm,
with weapons. Mm.
mhm.
And for people uh, mm,
The
talk about something.
they're talking. Mhm.
They're talking about something.
Okay, let me help you. From the suits, from the clothes, I can guess that two of them are noble person. Actually, four of them, right? Two looks like a priest to me, and two like a noble, probably a king, and he has a short sword somehow. And by their helmets, I can recognize um, soldiers, probably ones on the horse, and there are really a lot of people. I wonder what they're doing here all together. And we can see a long bow in some hands. And well, it looks like because of the dogs, because of their like clothes, I can say it looks like a hunt in the process to me. What do you think? Vasanth, tell us, am I right?
Yes. You can see the man is running away, so they were hunting him for some sort of crime. So then Robin Hood appeared there and set him free just by arguing with them. If you
I
touch
see.
him, let's make a fight, something like that.
Oh, sorry. So these two guys in robes, is it robe?
Yeah.
Actually?
We call those cloaks. If it's kind of like a cape, a long cape, we call it a cloak.
Mhm. So these two guys in cloaks, one of them is Robin, right? Okay,
Yes.
I see. Okay, what else we can notice here? On the white horse in the center, it looks like a woman sitting here with
Yeah.
a
Love interest
strange
of Robin Hood.
Ah, okay. It's a strange cap. So, and on the left, is it a King Richard or something? Or
Um,
not? Or
no, he is just
Sheriff?
the headman. Yeah, the right, the man in the black dress is the knight. He was about to marry the girl.
I see. I see.
It should
Okay,
be
let's.
mentioned that there's two kinds of bows
Mhm.
as far as weapons. As the short bow is not very long. A short bow is good for short range. The long bow has more power, so it can shoot a farther distance more accurately. So
I
we
see.
have short bows and long bows. The long
Mhm.
bow is the superior weapon.
Yeah, superior, but it's huge, right? You have to
Yeah,
carry it, and it's
right. So
clumsy.
for
Yeah.
close battles, you need a short bow, but for long distance battles, a long bow is better. Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go there. Layla, could you please describe this picture?
Of course, I don't know who the people are, but they are sitting at a table. I like the, what do you call it, Lee? Chandelier?
If it was hanging from the ceiling, yes. On a table, we call it a candelabra.
Candelabra, right. Thank you.
I bet it's a French word. I bet. Candelabra.
Yeah,
I,
chandelier, right.
I don't know. Yeah.
I can see that they're drinking, and their glasses are different.
Exactly. Teacher
Could
Liv wrote
be
in our chat. It's goblets.
goblets, right? And they look satisfied, especially the one on the right. Could be the
I
sheriff vasanth.
Yes, the right side is the sheriff and the left side is Robin Hood.
Mhm. And they're
Uh,
playing something, right? It's a kind of table game, like chess or
Yes,
something.
right.
yeah.
Okay. So Sharif is winning, I guess.
So the one on the left is Robin Hood.
Mhm.
Yes.
Okay, Kevin Costner is more handsome.
Okay, so don't forget about candelabra and chandelier difference from this picture. Teacher Lee told us
Thank
100
you.
times. Teacher Lee, I salute your patience with us. You know, we always forget the same things, and you
No,
have to repeat.
I haven't heard it before. Come on.
No, I talk about me. Well, so really, Teacher Lee, we do this. We do slides. We see the same things, and every time I forget again and again.
I know.
So Teacher Lee, he always correct me again and again in correct way. Vasanth, would you please describe this one?
Yeah, this is where Robin Hood was interrogated by the royal community. He was convicted of some sort of crime. Oh yeah, he was interrogating for setting the man free from the first line. He set him free, and he say that he didn't honor the sheriff's
The-
order. So that was the crime. And this is the court scene, and we can see a table with a candle holder. Maybe you can see that.
Yeah.
And then
Describes
how do we
the guy
call?
on
Yeah,
the
the
right.
clown. Yeah, the clown who amuses the sheriff and kings. Yeah, on the right side.
There is a special name for this clown, right? It's a joker, or how we call it?
Jester.
Jester.
Jester. Good one. Yeah. Okay, some soldiers here, and the guy in the center, a little bit behind Robin, he has a special armor. I guess it's a quilt, right? It's made of clothes, but
We
it's
call
kind
it padded or quilted.
okay, padded or quilted, yeah, kind of armor. So it's thick and you cannot stab easily.
It's for absorbing shock. Yeah.
Mhm, good.
Kind of like a cushion. cushioned armor or cushioned clothing. Yeah.
Okay, it's close to our movie, this episode. Sergey, what is happening? Describe this.
There is a fight between Robin Hood and the leaders of gangsters, and we can see a river and the old-fashioned wooden bridge, but it's a nature bridge.
Tree
That's
trunk.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and but some trees, and we can see the
Sword?
sword. Yeah, the sword.
Sword. Okay.
Sword.
In the
Usually-
original,
Mhm.
okay, in the original novels, the books about Robin Hood, Little John and Robin first met when they were both crossing a tree trunk over the water at the same time, and they met kind of near the middle, and Robin said, "Dear sir, I need to pass. Please go back to the other side and let me cross." And Little John said, "No, you go back to the other side, let me cross." So that's when they challenged each other. Well, it seems we're going to have to fight, you know. So that's when Little John had a big stick, but Robin didn't. So Robin said, "Well, it's no fair. You've got a big stick and I don't." So Little John said, "Well, go get your own stick." So Robin left the bridge, got a branch, made his own stick. Little John waited on the bridge. Robin came back with his own stick, and they had a stick fight on this tree trunk over the water. And Little John beat Robin. Robin fell in. So Little John won the fight, really. But they became friends because, you know, they were honorable fighters, you know.
Well, you should say man 3 times.
No. I'm just
Yeah. Testosterone. Yep, testosterone.
Okay, so Tishley, how we call this river formation? Cascade? Is it
Cascading. Yeah, cascading
Mhm.
waterfall. It's a little small to be called a waterfall, but yeah, cascading waterfall. Yeah.
Okay, and speaking about rivers, so we have a river, we have Rik. Rik is with a small water, right? It's
Creek is smaller. Yep.
smaller. Creek, sorry.
Creek.
Creek, river, what else? What else we should know? About rivers, so
We have something called a brook. This is more of a brook. A brook is very shallow. It's just like a foot deep, so you can walk across a brook. So normally we call this a babbling brook, where it has like cascading, the water runs over some rocks. It's very shallow. You can walk across it as long as you don't fall. So a brook is when it has kind of like cascading waterfall. Yeah.
Good to know. Okay, cooking in the process, I guess. Okay. Cooking pot, yeah. Okay, let's describe this one. Vova, could you please start this one?
There are 4 people around the
It's a like a cooking place or cooking pot, something.
cooking pot,
Mhm.
and one with stick.
Yeah, wooden stick, yes. What about their clothes? Something?
They are in in warm clothes.
Warm clothes. Okay, let me help you a bit. So this cooking pot made of 3 like sticks, or they metal, I can see, probably metal sticks, and a chain, so they can put it in like in every place under the fire and boil the water. What they do. And what I like the hat that guy on the left has.
could be blind man, Ivan.
Could be, but it's another story. Maybe there is no blind man in this story. Okay, I can see a strange belt. This guy has strange belt because this belt has 2 locks, it seems to me.
How could
Those
you see
buckles.
that?
Yes, I can.
Wow. Right.
Yeah, it's kind of strange how it works. I don't understand. So, 2 belts. What else? That's all. They don't worry about haircuts, so they probably live in the forest without barber shop.
They look poor, so I'd call them peasants or thieves.
Mhm.
It looks like they're in a cave and the air is smoky, maybe from the fire.
Could be. Okay, let's go forward. Well, would you like to describe this one?
Ivan, it is the forest. I can see people. I can see arrows, bows. Finito.
Finito. It's a kind of a championship. Is a, do you think it's
Okay,
a
let me
training
guess.
process?
Let me guess. The one in the middle could be Robin Hood, right, Vasant?
Seems so.
Yeah, yeah.
And the man on the left, I'm not sure. They are trying to practice
Archery.
right archery. Yeah, he's training them, I think.
Looks like
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
But yeah, when they arrived to their spot, they were hungry, so they offered food for this competition. To aim a place and a particular place, and if they win the competition, they would get the food. It was their first.
Okay, the
Yes.
competition is between 2 or 3.
2. The
2.
man
Okay.
behind, yeah, Robin Hood and Robin
Okay.
Hood.
All right. Thank you, Wasam. Right.
In the book, at some point, yeah, they had someone challenged Robin to an archery contest. And that's when they found out that Robin was an expert archer and no one could beat him in archery.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay,
Learn.
let's go
It's an
forward.
isolated forest, I guess.
Yes, how we call this place? When inside the forest, sometimes we have a place without trees, so just grass. So
We
how
call it a clearing,
Yeah,
a clear area, a clearing.
Okay.
I see. I expected some special word for this.
No.
Something. Okay, let's find something. Okay, this one. What else would you like to describe this?
Oh, yeah, since that guy was trying to execute the children by asking where the Robin Hood's whereabouts, but they refused to tell his whereabouts. Then, out of nowhere, out of the blue, Robin Hood and his friend came and cut the ropes of the hanging rope, and they saved them, the 2 children. You can see the hanging spot, hanging platform. So I think I can't see how would they hang anybody. There is no hole under the table.
Probably they step forward, I guess.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
Well, I cannot imagine. I know from the history book it existed, but I cannot imagine that people are so cruel to such a young boy. So something weird.
Yeah, a little weird. For a horse, there's 3 main parts to ride a horse. You need a saddle,
Mhm.
a bridle, and the reins.
Mhm, mhm.
He's got a sword, and a sword is kept in a sheath.
Yeah, so place to put it, right?
Yeah, so you can see the man has a sheath on his left side, but he's pulled his sword out of the sheath.
Uh-huh. Who is the man behind the child?
We have seen him in the forest on the first slide. So
Right.
probably a sheriff servant or something.
Some official, probably a town official, yeah, has authority.
Yeah. And the weather
Soldiers.
looks English weather to me. Always rainy, always muddy.
Yeah. Gloomy weather.
Yeah.
Gloomy weather. Do you remember Azeem said this in our movie? So something is wrong with this land. Where is the sun? Where is the sun? I cannot find the east to pray.
Yep. Yep. The soldiers had spears and swords.
Mhm. Try and find to the last one with some details. Sergey, which one do you prefer? With a battle or with birds?
Yeah.
Swans. Swans.
Swans?
With the plate.
Butcher?
This one?
Not at all.
those-
Next.
Yeah, we call those swans.
But
This birds.
we lost our page. Okay, and so we can 6 girls, and they were prepared for the wedding, Prince of Nottingham and Marion, and we can see the big bed, and in front of in the center of the picture we can see big case. It's an old-fashioned case with some ornaments and with metal cover, and on the bed we can see a lot of leaves of roses,
Yeah.
We call them petals.
flower petals. Flower petals.
They're soft, colorful, and fragrant.
Right.
Yeah, in the center of photo we can see some lights, like a gold light. I don't know, maybe it's a sun from the place on the floor.
Or sunlight shining through the roof.
Roof.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry, it's not floor.
Through
Roof.
a skylight, yeah.
Yeah, around a bed, around the bed we can see special material, special fabric for covering the place for men and women.
She told us many times how to call it. this kind of a tent around the bed.
You
Yeah,
know,
some-
we have got this, but we use it in order to get rid of the mosquitoes.
Yeah. The
Maybe.
chest, yep, at the end of the bed, the chest looks like a storage chest, but you can also sit on it when you're dressing, perhaps. So it has a couple of purposes, storage and a sitting bench.
It looks great.
Well, I guess it's all. That's all for today. I guess it's getting late. Okay, so nice movie. I enjoyed the story of Robin, and now actually because of this, we are reading a book about Robin Hood with my children. So it's interesting. Yeah. Maybe I will share more details when I get know them. And let's call it a day.
You,
Yeah.
Ivan.
See you next
Thank
week.
you, Teacher Lee. Thank you, everybody.
Yes, teacher Lisa,
Bye
give you
bye.
support.
Thank you very much.
Bye.